Hey everybody, ChromeFX Films here, and in this tutorial I will be covering how to make different types of menu effects using particle systems and mesh objects. This will be the advanced version of how to create a 3D menu system. I did make a basic tutorial a little while back, but this will be the more advanced version. So let's get started. Now, the first thing I have here is just a brand new scene, and I'm going to start by getting to the same position as this camera. So to get to the view of what the actual camera in the scene sees, you press game object and you do align view to select it, and that just moves your camera to what the camera sees. Now I'm going to create a 3D text and game object move to view if it's not already, but it is. And I'm going to change the anchor to middle left, so when we type, it goes from left to right, and that helps more for positioning. So I'll just make the text new game, and I'll title it. Make sure there's no spaces in the title, just so it's easier to work with later. Alright, there's new game, and as you can see, the text is very low resolution, so we're just going to increase the resolution by changing the font size over here. Make that a little bit bigger. Alright, shrink it down. There you go, much better. And I already imported a font to use. The font is called Bank Gothic. This is the font that they used in Modern Warfare, and I like it, so we're going to be using it for this tutorial. I'm going to duplicate this by pressing Control D, and then I'm going to rename this one. And I'm just going to make three texts just for this tutorial. Quit game. Alright, now we're going to add a collider to all these texts. We're going to add a box collider, and the reason why you need a collider is because your script, you won't be able to detect if your mouse is over the object unless it has a collider over it, because that Unity detects that. There you go. Now we're going to create the basic menu script, and we're going to call this new game. Okay, and I already have a actually I already have a pre-made script. Okay, and we can now make the scripts, but I already have a pre-made basic new game script, which we'll look at. Okay, here it is. And it's just basic. When you hover over it, it turns gray. When you move the mouse away from it, it turns white. So we're going to add this to the new game text. So that's there. Alright, open this back up. And what I'm going to be doing is the first type of menu effect you can do is when you hover over it, a mesh object will appear. So in this case, I would make a 3D floating arrow pop up right next to it and like have a cool, I guess, spinning effect like you'd see in some older games. I already have a arrow model that I made in Maya just for the purpose of this tutorial. It's actually very small, so I will make it bigger. And I will change the Z rotation axis to 90. The new Unity has this cool movement system where you can actually see these little panels and then you can move on that specific axis. But if you don't want to and you want to have the old style, just hold shift and then you can click and it'll move wherever your camera's looking, just like the old versions, which I got used to and before they upgraded. I'm just going to duplicate this arrow 3 times and have it located, and then I'm going to rename them. So this will be arrow 3, this will be arrow 2, and this will be arrow 1. Now I already created a animation so that I can add on all 3 of these objects, and I'm going to go to the properties and make it a loop. Let me show you what the animation looks like. It's just a simple rotation of an animation. This is what it looks like. Just spins in circles, that's it. Alright, and we have to, since the lighting is really low in the scene, we're going to go to the ambient light, and raise this up a bit. Alright, there you go. Okay, that looks better. We're going to go back to the new game script, and we are going to add something in here. So when you hover over the mouse, that arrow that we have right here is going to become visible. So it's like you're hovering or selecting over the object, and then once you move the mouse away, it will become invisible. And we're going to do that by enabling and disabling the mesh renderer. And what we're going to type is, when you hover over it, you're going to do game object.find, and this is just one way. You can find certain objects with certain tags, but I'm just going to be finding the actual object itself. Find, and I titled it arrow1 dot renderer dot enabled, and then we're going to do equals true. And then when it exits, we're just going to add the same thing, except we're going to change this to false. And we can minimize this, make all these arrows, actually we can disable the mesh renderer first, because this is what it's going to be enabling and disabling. So see, they disappear. Alright, we're going to keep that off, and if we test it down here, there you go, it pops up. Okay, I'm just going to duplicate these scripts. So I'll change this to load game. Alright, this will be quit game. And we're just going to change the code to, instead of looking for arrow 1, we'll change this to arrow 3, and then load game will be arrow 2. Okay. Just replace them. Add the scripts. And then when we test it, there you go. Alright. That's one way you can do it. And the other way is by making particle effects. So instead of a arrow appearing and disappearing, we're going to be having a particle effect. Let me see what I have. Alright, let's use a firework. So this is a very simple effect. Okay, let me just shrink this down a bit. Alright, position it. We'll make this one shot though. Get less intense. Okay. And just make this a little bit weaker effect. Ooh, wow. And make it last longer. Alright, and then I'll just name this. Yeah, we'll get rid of these arrows for now, but I'll name this one effect 1. And I'll duplicate it. Again, Control D. Effect 2. And this will be effect 3. Alright. Now we can disable the emitters on each of these. So this is the same as enabling the mesh render. We'll just keep those off for now. And we will change these scripts from searching for the arrows to the effects. So I named it effect 1. Instead of renderer, we will do particle emitter, which is right there, and then emit equals true. And then, of course, copy this back here, change it to false, and I'll just do the same thing here, just to save time. There's no need to type it again. And then, of course, load game. Alright, so just double check, make sure I did everything right. Alright, good. Save all. Minimize this. Let me test it. Alright, and there you go. So now it's emitting particle effects. So you can play around with this, and anything else that you want to do to this, you know, this is a good starting point. You can also do something with animation. You can also make these texts animate whenever you hover over them, and this works the same way as making these particle effects emit. That basically means that if I go back to the code, you can make, instead of finding game objects, well, you could, or you could, if you want to use the object that the script is attached to animate, you just do animation dot play, and then you do this, and then you type in whatever animation you want to play. So I'll just show you an example. Animation play resize up, and then when you move the mouse off of it, it would play resize down. And let me animate this to show you what I mean. Okay, so create new clip. We're going to name this resize up because that is what I put in the script. And what it's going to do is it's going to just resize the object. So we're going to make this grow a little bit, like that, and then copy these coordinates, make another animation called resize down. I believe that's what I called it. Yes. And we're going to copy these coordinates so it starts at that size, and then actually whatever the starting size over here was, here it is, we're going to add that. So there you go. Make it a little bit faster, and if you right click and you press flat, it kind of smooths it out. Let me zoom in on this. This is just for a little bit of effect. Alright, now I can test this. Oh, make sure you uncheck play automatically, because then you'll have the effect starting when you first start the game. Alright, there you go. And you can do that with the other scripts too. So as you can see, there are multiple ways you can make your menus more interesting in your games. I've only covered 3 ways, and in my own games I use some of these styles, some other styles too. But again, you know, there's just so many. And this is only the beginning, so you can build from here. The same lines of code that I use can also animate the camera. So you could have, when you click a button, the camera would animate and it would move to a different area in the scene. So you can have a load screen there, and then the possibilities are endless. I know I'm emphasizing the menus a lot, and I guess most people probably don't care about the menus that much, but the same code can be used in-game for multiple situations. It's up to you to decide when to use them. So, thanks guys for watching, and subscribe for more tutorials. See you next time.